yeah. This is called back-to-back lives. What am I doing? It's past my bedtime. I'll give it 1 minute. If nobody don't show up, I'm out of here. Peggy's back. 3B Homestead's back. Neil's back. Oh man. I'm glad they're getting their house started. I had to close that. How many wants to bet Stephanie goes in first? If he does, I'm gonna call Brandon. I put on there. I left my live running before I cut it off earlier. Stephanie read that and she goes, "Dean, you gonna live again tonight?" And I thought, "What do you think you're doing?" And Neil's back in. Neil, you'll have to make a take some pictures outside somewhere around your house or out down the street or something, and put a slideshow together. Make sure it's going to work. Okay. Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know why Brandon don't ever say nothing when he comes in. He just sits there. Peggy, I think Neil's got it figured out now. Now that I figured out how to put him in there, I think he is. I think he's got too many chickens. He don't want me to give him a hard time because he hadn't got a spray gun a hold of that building out there yet. That's what it is. Here goes. Neil's gonna put some pictures up. Oh, look at that. And Neil has the floor. Now just wait. In a few weeks, we'll get to see all the concert pictures that he takes. Uh, That picture right there shows everybody standing up too. Yeah. Neil will get that video camera going. Oh, 9 years old. Wow, look at that. That was COVID Christmas. Wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, figure Neil will probably be on stage singing. I'm glad we got this figured out and we won't have to worry about it here in 3 weeks. Oh, cool. You that will be awesome here shortly. Especially when you go walking around town. See if you can find one of them old phone booths. Hey, Chris. Yep, we were setting it up to where Neil will be able to share his concert experience in London in about 3 weeks. We're making sure everything works so we don't miss out on it. On a 6 hour show. I'll remember to bring my pillow. We'll I bet he can get some audio. How's Chris doing tonight? Nice of you to drop by. We just we were on earlier and we went to watch somebody else's live, and I jumped back on just for a few minutes, so we could let Neil play a little more here. Yeah, Neil, get us some audio of the streets, the traffic, the cars going by, the music, the anything you experience, man. Bring it alive to us. That's what I'm talking about. The sounds. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. Of course, you can always go, "This is Neil, live from London." Hey, why not? Root beer floats. Well, yes, that's exactly right, Peggy. Whatever you feel comfortable. But can you see it now? You hold the camera up there and go, "It's me, Neil, live from London." Hey, just like a TV show. It would be cool to see things from London. That's what we're going to do. Neil's going to fix us up. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. We're not putting you under no pressure, Neil. No pressure whatsoever. If you just get a few pictures and a little bitty video, that's good. You know, we'll be happy with that. Uh, yeah, yeah. It's like live from Hollywood, you know. But oh, cool. Put some of them together, Neil, and when we wouldn't want to give them all. Like don't want to give all of it away at one time, and except for the one in about 3 weeks. That's what the whole live will be about. What whatever you capture. And now let's see. Now Peggy has volunteered to be a supervisor on a fence put up. And Neil, she volunteered you to drive the first stake in the ground. Oh, 3B, God bless. It was good to see you and glad you dropped by. Oh, that was, I think, Brooke, wasn't it? I've been, I don't know, they both might have been in there. It was Brooke earlier. Well, Neil might Neil might break my record of live. That's gonna be Neil's night when we do that. Yeah. Well, you have to talk to the supervisor about that, Neil. You have to talk to Peggy. That we got 7 people in here. You know what that means, don't you, Brandon? Or Stephanie? Uh-oh. uh, there you go. Peggy's got you. Got to hold up a fence. Well, maybe they'll all come back for the concert in a few weeks. If they don't, they won't know what they're missing. Uh, I just know I'm not going to miss it. Neil, how my memory is short and I forget things sometimes. But how long was it? How long will it take you to get there to the concert? I think you said one time. We're back to 6 people now. Back to 5. 3 hours by train. Okay. Wow. Well, yeah. Spend the night. Yeah. Kick back and relax and enjoy it. Like I said, I wish I was going with you. Cause we tear up some video then, boy. Let's see here. First train home, London, second train to Cambridge. Mm. You said I like riding trains. I didn't. I've only done it once, except for well, actually twice. One time I was a kid, and my brother and I jumped on a train in South Norfolk in Virginia in a boxcar, and we ended up in Maryland. The train never slowed down for us to jump off, and we went over the water and everything. That's kind of steep for a taxi, but yeah, we ended up in Maryland, and just on the other side of the water. Well, this is after I went to be with my. I had to go to live with my mom. Nobody never missed us. We ended up. Uh, a guy with a boat took us back across the river, the James River, back across to the Virginia side, and let us out on a dock over there. And then we found our way back home. And we were, I think we were like 14, 15 years old. Let's see. Well, it's easier to remember by my brother. It was, yeah, he was about 12. So I was about 14. But South Norfolk's where my stepdad's mother lived, which we call Grandma too. And we went. They were at their house. Well, we went down there and the train walked down. It's an old part of town, and we walked down there. And train was coming, and the train almost stopped. And we didn't plan on getting on the train to start with, you know. And oh, the train's almost come to a stop. Hey, let's get in that car. And we jumped up in it. And the doors was open on both sides of it. Uh, uh, we started riding, and the train got going faster and faster and faster, and it never stopped. It just kept on getting it, and yeah, it was across the river, and on the other side, and uh, we were in Maryland, and we had made our way back down. We hitchhiked a ride, and when we got back down to where the water was, we got to get a ride. We got to get a ride across the bridge because you couldn't walk across that bridge, and it's a long bridge. And we were down there talking to this guy, and he's talking about his boat. I said, "Well, yeah, will you take us over? Will you take us across the river?" and somehow or another, we ended up riding. He ended up giving us a ride on his boat. No, I wasn't. Uh, I don't think my brother was neither. And we got back across the river, and we went home instead of back to my stepdad's mother's house, my grandma's house. We went all the way home, and okay, we got another ride. Took us almost to the door, or two rides got us almost to the door because we had to get another ride through another tunnel out of Norfolk and coming back over. And we got home and they were already home too. And oh, where were y'all at when we left? Where were y'all at? We couldn't find y'all nowhere. And they just figured we'd show back up at Grandma's when they just went home without us. Well, we made it back home. It was late that evening, and it was on a Sunday because we had ate chicken and dumplings, so we wasn't hungry neither. She can make some chicken and dumplings now. Oh, when she made hers, she didn't. You know, a lot of people now make them when you get chicken and dumplings. It's got the chicken pieces in it and everything. Hers had the bones and all. It was. Well, they never knew. We didn't tell we jumped the train. We didn't tell that until years later. But we didn't tell we jumped the train. And next time I rode on a train was I was driving. I had an engine go down on me uh, in one of my trucks, and I was up in uh, New Jersey, and I'd been looking at another truck in Ohio. Well, that truck was going to be. No, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. No, that was two different times. I'm getting them mixed up. I came home when the truck broke down that time, and I had to put it in the cat house. I was in New Jersey, in near Trenton, New Jersey, and I rode the train. I took the train and went to Ohio to pick up a truck up, and I enjoyed that ride. We did get held up and was a little late, but hey, that was no big deal. But uh, hey, the, they had the restaurant was open, the dining room was open on it, and everything. It was a nice ride. I enjoyed my train ride. There's We don't have a train out of here. There's one down south. I think you can catch it somewhere south of Atlanta or someplace. And there's one up north. You go north, and I think you can catch a train somewhere. But I've always said one day I'm going to jump on a train and uh, take a ride. Cross country, just ride on a train. Get me a sleeping cart and the whole 9 yards. I just never did it. Kids, kids grew up always busy with life, and just never got around to doing that train ride. But I've seen the train really can't go nowhere that I haven't been, but except for on the tracks. But yeah, I do too, Neil. I think they're cool. Now my oldest grandson, he he can tell you all about trains. I've got train nails and everything from the tracks he collects, and they're in the back of my truck down at the Chevrolet dealership shop right now. And yeah, he knows all about trains. He can tell you about the world's biggest train crash, what year it was. All he can tell you the whole story. I mean, he's really into trains now. when I used to pick them when they were going to public school, and I used to pick them up sometimes. Can we go to the train tracks? There's a plate in the back of my pickup truck, which I've never got out because it's so heavy. He carried it. Big old steel plate. And heavy. And he found that down there on the railroad tracks in the park. And he carried that thing from the railroad tracks because I was parked at the tower. And he carried it all. I said, just leave that thing. It's way too big. It's nothing but a plate of steel, but it's part of a train. It's one of the things that it's a stabilizer that sits under the cross the wood pieces that goes across. It sat under the track and was drilled into it and stabilized the track onto it. And he wasn't gonna leave without it. I said, well, I'm not carrying that thing. If you get it, you'll have to carry it to the truck yourself. And he did. He had to stop once, but he carried that thing all the way to the truck, and it was so heavy he was going to try to pick it up and throw it over the back of the truck into the truck. I said, no, wait a minute. Let me put the tailgate down. Put it in that way. Yeah, that's oh, I know he would. There's not one he wouldn't. Uh, Christina can tell you about me trying to find this train and train track one Christmas. He come up with kind of like at the last minute that he wanted for Christmas. I was all over the place trying to. Yeah, he loves steam. He knows all about steam engines and everything. Uh, the the scary stuff come later, but it was all about trains at one point. It was nothing. I mean, he knows. You get him talking, he won't be quiet. Yeah, if he gets talking about trains, and Christina hears him talking to somebody, she goes, "Oh Lord, we're never going to get out of here, or they'll never get away." He got them. Is that one of your videos? Yeah, I did. That was. I did do a video with him of me and him going to the tower. That was the day he carried that. I don't know if I put the video with him carrying that plate of steel or not, but uh, yeah, he. Uh, I always remember he was desperate. He was determined to have that. He was determined to have that plate. He's got nails that are brand new nails, and he's got nails that are old nails. I had to confess, I threw away one of his nails. I used one of them to keep something from blowing away in a can that I was going to take to a dumpster. And I didn't want it to blow out of the back, stuff start to blow out of the back. And I reached out, picked up one of them old nails, laid it on top of it. They're heavy to hold it in place. And when I got there, I forgot about it, and I turned it up and dumped it. And after I dumped it, I went, "Oh, I just threw away one of his nails." Oh, it's one of the old. He knew. He knows. He would have known it. He knew every one of them nails, which one was which, and how old one bent which way, and everything. And I told him, I said, I accidentally threw away one of your nails. Oh, shit, just spin the end. Yeah, Railroad Museum. Now, uh, train to train, checking out their report. Well, that was sweet. Yeah. Hey, we ain't got nothing but time. I like to watch kids play, and I like to watch them get excited about things. No need to be in a hurry. Let them enjoy it. Oh, well, Neil, my mom needed a break from me too. It started the day I was born. Till I was 10 years old, and then they made her stop having a break. She was forced to stop having a break. I don't know. I think she still stayed on a break. she, she just, we were just there for a long time. My stepdad back in them early years and stuff. For many of them, he was an alcoholic, and my mom drank too. She'd pretend like she didn't, but we might have been kids, and she might have thought she was hiding it from us, but she wasn't. Uh, when we got older, even, and our dad he'd mark his liquor bottle, and he'd say, "I had a mark on it. Somebody's been in it. That's which one of you boys been in it, and all that." It was mom, and she'd sit there and never say a word. She was the one in it. But, but I always said, like I told my sister, she never knew how to be a mom. Uh, Not real. So she loved us. There's no doubt about it. But she didn't know how to be a mother. She didn't know how to be a guiding mother. You know, it just things happen. She she wouldn't never admit to it. But well, she wasn't married to my birth father, and back in those days that wasn't a good thing, And then uh, then she uh, went to live with my aunt, and she ran off with some guy who she met in a magazine or a chain letter thing where you write each other. Never met him before in her life, and she took off with him and went to Canada. She came back from Canada pregnant with my brother. She married him now, and but it didn't last but a few months, and she was back at my aunt's house in North Carolina, and then that's where it was near the base, and that's where she met my dad, my stepdad. That's where she met him at. Within a few months. Well, I, I don't think it was. I don't think you. I don't think it was you, Neil. I really don't. You were a little. You were a little fella. I've never. Uh, and like Brandon says, we all got problems, and we just some of us can deal with them and better than others, and uh, some needs help. Here them guineas. Let me go look out the window real quick. looks good. Yeah. Well, a lot of you ain't the first one. I've known a lot of kids like that. That babies that boy, they having a party down there. My youngest daughter did that to me now. Yeah. Well, my grandparents raised me, like I said, till after I was 10 years old. I was over 10. Wasn't 11 yet. Uh, but they had me from the day I was born. They sometimes they didn't even know where to find my mom, so they couldn't have given me back to her if they wanted to. But I become a I become a little terror after I went to live with my mom. You know, probably nothing new. She and your grandmother had 13 kids. Let me tell you, I don't think she was. It wasn't the fact that you were gone, or she was glad. Uh, she was glad when her kids went out to play too. They stayed outside. Yeah. Why do I gotta go? Yeah. Why me? Let Phil do it, my brother or something. You know. Yeah. You're the oldest. I, I didn't ask to be. Oh, godmother. Oh, your godmother had there. Okay. I'm sorry. Yep. And everybody talk about the joke about "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" In the back, we were that. We were that family. Are we there yet? How much longer? But why? Dang, we're not so much different. I learned. Now look. I wasn't no. I'm no perfect dad in no way in any form or shape. But uh, I learned a lot because of the way I was raised, and most of it was I don't want to raise my kids that way. And yeah, I'm that way now, Neil. Well, thank you, Peggy. I don't take no credit for my attitude towards it or how I felt about it or anything. Good Lord, changed that. I was a bitter young man, uh, teenager. Uh, uh, it was all after the Lord came into my life that took all that away. Uh, like I said, when I was a teenager, when I was 12, 13 years old, right in that neighborhood, I used to lay and think of how I was going to take this man off the face of the earth. And uh, if I had did it, I wouldn't have probably felt bad about it at all at the time. Uh, but uh, yeah, the good Lord changed all that in a twinkle of an eye. Just one dark night at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. Yeah, He changed it all. My sister always said when we talk about the past, uh, and and she one thing my sister used to she said more than once is it just amazed her how I don't have that. I don't have no hate, no. I don't get angry when I talk about it. She says, "You truly put it in your past." I said, "Well, it is my past, and I can't change that. But as far as how I feel about it, the good Lord just told me to. He just showed me another way to live with it and another way to look at it. And because I sure didn't have that way in my heart or my mind at the time. Yeah, at least there was some kind of something to do, wasn't it? Hopefully they all treated you good. I'm going to tell you right now. I went to a Catholic school for a few years, and uh, uh, I don't like nuns. I, uh, I discovered real quick uh, as a kid that nuns aren't always honest. I don't know what makes them guineas stirring them guineas up. Well, I don't. I don't put no two people in the same category. Uh, Everybody's different, and I'm sure there's some good-hearted nuns and priests out there who uh, are sincere as all they could, as they can be, and are doing the best they can to live the way they think they should. Uh, but I had a nun and one of my teachers. Uh, she told stories, and she told them on kids that wasn't true, and she knew she was telling the stories. No, no ifs ands or buts about it. And that's one time. That's one time my mom took up from me that that I can never remember. And she had to come down to the school, and she was like, "Do what?" Now there was times I deserved to be somebody to take up for me that time, and I she did it, and I don't know why she did it, but there was many times that I didn't deserve to be taken up for, and she didn't take up for me anyway. She didn't know one way or the other, and she still didn't try taking up for me. She didn't know then, but that was weird. Uh, I was proud to walk out of that school with my mom that day. Well, some of the stories, Neil, are uh, was told by different people and who wrote basically the same story, but their viewpoint of it, or how they perceived it, or how they saw it from their side of the table. Uh, and I mean, one was up closer and saw more happening here, and one was back here and saw what was happening. It was all the same. It was all in the same part of the same story, but just written by different people. And that's one reason you have to bounce around a little bit in the Bible. Yeah, the Bible's. You know what's funny is all the kings and uh, back before Jesus was ever walked the earth. Back when the Old Testament just prophesied that he was to come, that there was going to be a Messiah. They all believed it. They believed it from beginning to end of the Old Testament. They knew it was going to come to pass, uh, and they did their best to try to stop it from happening, but they didn't. They wasn't able to.
Motion detected in the front yard.
Kitty cat. Yeah, but Almost months ago. Yeah, I lost my train of thought, but that was they all believed it. That's why they had, you know the story about all ordering all the babies to be put to death at a certain age range and all that. If you read it, uh, they were trying to kill him before he was, uh, you know, they brought in people uh, who they thought were more knowledgeable, Neil, to try to help figure it out. And they questioned people of why they were traveling. There's a lot. There was a lot to it because they believed in the Old Testament. They believed what was written, and what was written all that years before Jesus ever breathed the first bit of air, uh, all came true. Everything that was written in the Old Testament came true. That's well, not no. Uh, you don't you don't have to necessarily every one of them was told what to write, uh, and they wrote it according to their experience.
Motion detected in the front yard.
All right, cat. Yep. It's raining again. Not raining hard. But yeah, to get a grasp of the whole surroundings, you do go to different chapters of the Bible, different verses that different people wrote to get the vision of what everybody saw from where they were seeing how they were seeing it and the lessons that they were being taught. There's I told a young man a few days ago, there's not a one of us that's not on this planet for some reason. The Lord put us all here for some reason. Some of us for a small reason, uh, some of them for big reasons. But we're all here for some reason. And it's we don't have to go out and search for what it is. It's gonna cross our path in our life. Uh, what's important is we wake up every morning looking for it, knowing that not to pass up the opportunity that might be it. That might be what you're here for. Uh, and uh, and I've told I don't know how many times I tell people, you know, I used to tell Boy Scouts all the time, constantly, don't take what I say to heart. We're all led on a different path. What the Lord wanted me to do, I did. Uh, I might have missed some of them. I'm not perfect. I'm a human being. Uh, but I think I did do a lot of them. I tried my best anyway. And that's what it's all about. He knows we're not going to be perfect. He knows we're going to mess up and we're going to miss opportunities. And But that's okay because he's got someone else that's going to make up the difference. Now, the reason they got different religions and different rules is because they chose to take it the way they wanted it and believe it the way they wanted to believe it and make it to fit what they were doing in life or what they wanted to do in life. The Bible was not written for us to separate from. It wasn't made for you to go do it this way and me go do it this way. The Bible is the Bible. Follow. Everything should lead back. Whenever you preach the word of God or whenever you talk about the Lord, it should circle back around and come back to the cross. It should come back to the point to where uh, uh, kind of the way my girlfriend explains it herself. It should come back to the love of Christ. Uh, but we're here for a reason. You're here for a reason. I know. That's why, Neil, I'll start to tell you. I tell the Boy Scouts, I tell you what, I read it to you. I tell you what it says, but how it is to affect your life and how you are supposed to react to it, how you're supposed to follow it, is not going to be in the same footsteps that I make. If we all had to follow the same footsteps, uh, you know, you might need to be across town somewhere, and I need to be on the other side of town. You might need to be in the UK, and I'm not supposed to be here in the US. Uh, and it's for a reason. Uh, I always said when I leave this world, uh, I wanted to just go to bed, lay down, and go to sleep, and not wake up. And if I had to make another choice, I would want to do it saving someone's life who don't know Christ. Uh, I know my destiny, and I know because I accepted it, and I hope everybody will have that same opportunity. There's I just hate to see somebody go that didn't have that opportunity. When there's not much in my life to talk about as far as he done great things or anything like that. But if I give my life to save somebody else's life, uh, somebody would remember that for sure. Especially the person you saved, I hope. Can you hear the guineas? It's like, yeah, a lot of these religions nowadays are changing their beliefs. You can't change your beliefs and be right. Now the cat's way up here. Listen at him. think one just moves over and bumps the other one, and they all start hollering. Well, there's a lot of churches doing it. Uh, I look at it like this: whether I think their belief was founded correctly or not, whether I think they're uh, preaching the gospel as it should be preached or not, if they did that all them years and then one day they change it, that tells you a whole lot right there. It's people. Uh, the the church is us as individuals. We are the church. The building that people have confused themselves with and call it their church is nothing more than what the church gathers in. And I mean, you've got uh, they're allowing things to happen that was sinful to them in the past to now take place in their churches, and they're making excuses for it. Yeah. uh, I'll tell you right now, if you if you're truly following God's word and if you truly accepted Him in your life, uh, it's going to be hard to confuse you with not being a good person. Uh, Whether you make mistakes or not, that's another story. But like I said, God, that's what Jesus was all about, for the forgiveness of our mistakes, our sins in our lives, the things we mess up. That's what he was. That's what he was sacrificed for. Uh, he gave his life for that purpose. So because nothing we do on this earth could ever get us into heaven. Uh, you can't be good enough on your own. You can't. Uh, it's not a flip of a coin thing. It's a do. It's a do or not do. People want to. People want to make it so hard. They want to. They think you're. They want to take and say, well, oh, you guys here. You want to get saved? Nobody can bring you to God but you, and nobody can call you but Him. The Bible was inspired by God, Neil. And he says, whoever believeth in me shall not perish, but have everlasting life. He didn't say you have to go stick your hole in the ground and hold your breath for 10 minutes. He didn't say you had to go to your neighbor's house and hold their hand while they cried. A lot of that stuff just comes natural from the love of Christ in your life. Think about this, Neil. All his disciples who wrote the Bible.
Can anybody hear me? Anybody?
Okay. Did that help? Did that fix it? Apparently. Okay. That fixed it. Oh, good. I don't know what happened. I think the phone did it. I'm going to fix that right now. Alrighty. But anyway, I left the studio and came back in again. I fixed it. Uh, Everyone knows why you don't talk. Why is that? I didn't. You said, can anybody hear you? I could hear you. Oh, is he talking about his voice? He sounds. He's got the accent of someone from the UK. What's wrong with that? I didn't hear it. I didn't hear what you're thinking, Neil. Yeah, I didn't. Not at all. Uh, I didn't hear nothing annoying about it. I like live from London, the Neil's broadcast station. No, Neil, I didn't notice. I didn't. No, it's not. Where'd you get that? Now, I've only heard you say, can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? I didn't think that at all. I don't need to pay you. Somebody's put that in his head, or he's put it in there himself. Because I don't find no truth to that. But yeah, Neil, they all wrote what they wrote, and they wasn't nowhere near each other. They didn't sit around a table. They didn't. They didn't conspire to write what they wrote. They all went separate ways, and they still told their stories of their walk with Christ and what he wanted them to put down in ink. So yeah, they were human people, but they were inspired by God. I kind of like Neil's voice myself. You sound like somebody that talks in the UK. It's no different than. Well, I've got used to Petra talking, but she's from Germany, but she didn't always sound. Yeah, uh, it was clear, probably more clear than mine. Exactly. I, I probably sound funny to a lot of you, especially when I put all the slang in there. Now I can take all the slang out of my language, but and speak uh, good English. But you would all be so bored with me. Yeah, and but she used to have. You could tell. I used to tell people when I first met her when she came from when she come over here from Germany. Uh, uh, I, she could have been German, or she could have been from somebody from the Northeast. She kind of had that accent of somebody from the Northeast. No, I didn't think so, Neil. What little bit I heard of you speaking, it was clear, and uh, I was excited to hear it. I was glad to hear it. Yeah, well, you shouldn't adopt what other people were thinking. There you go. I mean, it's kind of like if somebody harassed you about how you sound, that's just them being uncomfortable with the way they sound. That's the way I used to always figure it out. When somebody gives somebody a hard time, it's usually because they're trying to cover up something, their own little twerks and problems that they have. Them guineas are nighttime partiers down there, I tell you. Because I look out down there and there's not a thing going on down there. The chickens are all, I don't know how they sleep through it, but the chickens are all just sound asleep. And but oh, they want to be on the live too. Well, I believe so. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, Neil. If you think that in your own head, dismiss it. Well, am I? Nice of you to drop by. And if you do go to sleep on us, we understand. Good night. Uh, Peggy said hello. Just dismiss it, and it's that kind of reminds me of Brandon's so worried about sometimes about what somebody or one or two or five people make comments uh, about something that gets on his nerves. I wouldn't. I mean, it bothers him. He says it don't sometimes, but you can tell it does. Nah. Now, we heard your voice. Can anyone hear me? That's all we heard. Uh, a couple of times. And I used to sing pretty good, but I don't have the voice I used to have to. After uh, getting my esophagus worked on and all that, I don't have the voice. I don't have a voice at all anymore, but I still sing. I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. Uh, okay. Did that fix it? Did that work? Good. Okay. I'm having to leave the studio and go back in. My phone is doing that. I can answer my phone on my tablet. Well, it's good to see you. I'm surprised how many people are up this late. I'm surprised I'm up this late. I might not be asleep sometimes and be up this late, but I'm not up this late. Yeah, leave the studio and come back in. Apparently fixes it. 6:50 a.m. It's 1:50 a.m. here. Almost 2 o'clock in the morning. And tomorrow's Saturday. I have to make a trip to the dollar store, and outside of that, I don't have nothing to do because I'm going to take that old camera and set it back up around back there and turn it on, and then let y'all go to work. I'm just going to come back in the house, take a nap. When y'all get finished, I'll sneak back out there and see how good a job you did. I know it's going to be a good one because Peggy's going to supervise it. Yeah. Let's blame Brandon. But you know what? It don't bother me at all to close a live down to go over there. They do that. That's their life. That's their, that's their piggy bank. That's something they depend on. And I tell you what, they're talking about that camel, that thumbs up once. I'm glad I wasn't at that auction. Neil, could you see it? Could you see it now sitting there? Could you imagine yourself sitting there beside her, and the camel comes in, and she looks at you and goes, "I want that camel," and then smiles real big at you. You start bidding, wouldn't you? Oh, mercy. You might need to take a nap. Yeah, I know. She's most kids do, and it's true. You got to pick and choose. But I put the story in there and typed it in there. I think she read it. But they had an auction, and I had no use for no lizard. Now, you know, my kids are all grown. They had no use for no lizard. And I was over at the school supporting the school system, the elementary school, and this auction started up, and I was bidding on everything, you know, and I would get it up there to where I wanted it to be, where I thought it was going to be make good money for the school. And if they quit bidding against me, then I took it home with me. But a lot of it anyway, especially adults. Well, I wouldn't let them have it unless I saw they needed it. And I started bidding on this lizard. And then I figured out who I was bidding against. And it was this little boy. He was sitting there beside his mama, and he was like looking at his mama. And I was like, oh, I'm bidding against that kid. I can't stop now. He's fair game. Just left to go to work. Hey, Tina. Tina says, hello, everyone else. And well, anyway, he kept looking at his mama and the auctioneer's up there going, yeah, let me have 15, let me have 15, let me have 17, let me, come on, I'm looking for 17. Little boy sitting there going, mama, mama. Mama's like not saying nothing no more. And finally she'd go like, and he'd go, you know, and I would hit him right back. And I anyway, mama cut him off. Mama wouldn't bid no more. And I think I ended up spending like $25 or something, like somewhere in that neighborhood, for this lizard looking thing. It wasn't a lizard, it was something like a lizard. Had a long tail anyway. And I said, just go ahead and write it down on my name and give it to him. Because he done got all sad over there because mama wouldn't let him bid no more. And then he heard me win. And I said, just go ahead and write it down in my name and give it to him. And his face just lit right back up like, whoa, cage and all, you know. Yeah, I let him have it. Hey, you know, and what was cool about it was I didn't see his mama say anything. And he got up and he walked over to me and he goes, thank you, sir. And I said, you're welcome. And you take good care of it now. And I will. And he went back and sat down. Hey, the Boy Scouts had a silent auction. And there was 5 tables worth of stuff strode down through here with papers in front of each one of them, you know. And every 10 minutes or so, I go down through there and raise a bid on every one of them. And look, I couldn't have done this if the Lord hadn't blessed me with the money to do it. So that's just the way that was. And I did that throughout the whole entire time. And they had a time they were going to shut it off. And I waited till like, you know, the last minute. And I went down through there, marked every one of them up again. And then I look back and I see people, and while I was down there doing the last ones, putting in, I go back to them and raise them up again. Now, here's what I did to them adults. I think I missed one. Somebody got one of them out from under me. And but I won everything on the tables except for one. And I said, okay, here's the deal. I'm paying what I bidded on everything on that table. And everyone who is just above me who made the last highest bid still wants it. If they pay that bid, they can have it. So I wrote a check and everybody, I still took home some stuff. Some people were just bidding and didn't want it anyway, I reckon. But a lot of people went and paid their last, you know, that bidded just before me, paid that for it. So it doubled the money. You know, it helped the camp that was going, you know, the Boy Scout that was leaving. You know, they were going on a trip out of town. I think Washington D.C. is where they went that year. And but it was all to raise money for their, you know, for one of their outings. Yeah. That stuff, it's fun. I love to go to auctions. My little sister, when she was a little girl, I used to take her to auctions all the time. You know, it was we'd load stuff up in the car. Yeah, it was like a, yeah, you know, we're going to go through this when we go home, see what all's in here. We're going, you know, but I wouldn't let nobody outbid me. If you were going to bid, you had to, you know, it's the same way with the guineas. I told Scott, we're going home with these guineas. I didn't care. Yeah, if they went $75 a piece, we were going home with these guineas. I had the most expensive guineas in town, but you know, people quit bidding. Luckily, Scott says, "I think they're going to go too high." I said, "No, they're not. They're going home with us." Yeah, they're gonna rattle it off. They Now there's one auctioneer down there. One auctioneer is really good, and I like it when he takes over. You could, you know, he's he rattles it off, but you know what he's saying. You know where you stand. You know what bid he's got. This other guy, I'm sitting back there, and Scott goes, "That's kind of high for that." I said, "Scott, he ain't even got a bid. He's just up there rattling. He ain't got no bid. Nobody's bid at anything." Yeah, carry a big wallet. Yeah. What we used to have one just down the road down here, and I used to take my son to all the time. And Christina's been there many a times. Uh, but I would either know what somebody wanted for something, and I just bid. If I got it, I got it. But uh, if somebody says, "I really need, I really need $50 for that," or "I really need $45 for that," or whatever, and I go, "Well, we'll see what we can do for you." Well, I'd be sitting back there and I'd bid it up to that price and uh, carry it right across the line. If nobody bid it against me and I ended up stop bidding, then I'd take it home with me or give it back to them. Yeah, but I didn't. It didn't matter. Uh, bought a. In fact, one of the freezers that are up at the fruit stand, I bought at that auction years ago. Uh, 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 yeah. Well, until I see the bidding going around the room, I'll sit there. If I don't if I'm interested in it, I won't start a bid, but I'll finish it. Uh, if it gets, I have been uh, there was a big old thing of bicycle chains for bicycles, and I thought that would take the. Now there's some guy who at Christmas time rebuilds bicycles. People donate bicycles to him and stuff, and he fixes them up and stuff for kids for Christmas for uh, through the. I think it's through the sheriff. I think he did it started out through the sheriff's office doing it, and or that's where they let him store them at. And I've run across this big old box of bicycle chains, and I thought brand new, and I thought, well, that would be good for to give to him to donate to that for that cause. Well, uh, they started auctioning them off. When they got to them, they started auctioning them off, and nobody was bidding. And when he's up there, wouldn't be asking for it. It wasn't worth it. Let me enjoy me a $50. Give me $70. I got 100. Give me 100. And he's just rattling off, And I'm like, nobody's bidding. Finally, he goes, well, somebody started off with something. What are they worth? And well, it's not what they're worth. It's what I'm going to win the bid, And I said, oh, $10. He goes, okay, thank you, sir. I got $10. Nobody wanted them. I got them for $10. Of course, I took them right. I brought them home, put them in the shed out there, and when they started doing the gathering for the bicycle thing, I said, "Oh, we'll get them bicycle chains and take them down there." And but hey, that's a lot of bicycle chains. But of course, if you don't work on bicycles, if somebody worked on bicycles was there, that'd have been a good deal for them to start bidding on. But there wasn't nobody there wanting bicycle chains. That's exactly right, Neil. And I didn't need them. I didn't need them, not for me. What would I do with a big old box of bicycle chains? That sucker was heavy. And but we bought a lot of stuff down there, and we go through it, and it was just for the fun of it, Just half the stuff I bought down there, and I didn't even need or have any use for or anything else. Some people say you could actually say I was throwing money away, but no, I wasn't. The kids had a ball going through it. Hadn't other than the farm auction, I hadn't been to an auction in a long time. Now back, I don't know, it's been quite a few years ago now, probably 7, 8 years ago. Michael was dating some girl 30 minutes from here, and there was an auction house right there near her where she lived. And Michael's going, there's an auction house over there, Daddy, like we used to go to because it closed down here. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah, you want to go to the auction next week? And I'm like, yeah, well, we'll go. So we bought some stuff. It's just fun. And she had some kids, and they'd see something they wanted, and I'd buy it. I'd bid on it and buy it for them. Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of things you could probably do with it. Probably a lot of art stuff you could do with bicycle chains, with chains, period, that people's done, weld them together and all that kind of stuff. But nobody was there wanting them chains. And I had to get more for them. I was going to buy them regardless. If somebody started bidding against me, I'd have still got them. But I didn't have to bid but one time. And they used to do they used to have stuff in there. You walk down through there and look in these boxes, and they'd be all stacked up in the front there. And we call them the dollar box. But you look in there, and I see power tools and stuff like that in there, and I go, that looks like brand new. Or, yeah, okay. I wonder if that works. Well, we're going to find out. And the boxes always started at $1 and go up. And I can't remember a box ever selling for more than $5. But I'd always start them off at $1. How many boxes you want? This auction's over with. How many you got there? Take them all. And Michael would have a ball with that stuff. He would load it up, and he'd take it home, and we'll go through it. He'd go through it tomorrow. Next day he'd start going through it, and They set the trash can over there. If it was trash, he'd throw it away. If he wanted something he wanted to keep, or if it was something worth something, or he'd put it up. But they're fun. That's all it is about it. It was fun, and I could afford to do it, so I did it. And that's why I become so dangerous at an auction. A lot of people wouldn't even bid against me. There were people who always sat in front of me up there. They, if he pointed back, I got so much back here, they'd all turn and look to see if it was me bidding, because they knew there wasn't any bidding against me. And I had several of them tell me that. Well, if I bid, I'd bid because I wanted to win. A lot of fun. Well, Neil, we got everything straightened out, and you probably want to take a nap. And I'm sure Peggy's probably going to sleep on us. Tina, it's good to see you. And is anybody else still here? That besides I was looking to see if anybody said good night. You too, Tina. God bless. Good night. There you go, Neil. But yeah, it's after 2:00 in the morning here now, and it's been fun. I appreciate each and every one of you for stopping in and for being here with me. You don't think you go to bed? It's too late. Yeah, get you some coffee. Yeah, well, I had to come back after that. It is, Neil. I'm glad we got that worked out. I'm looking forward. I'm actually excited. I mean, I don't get excited about a whole lot of stuff most of the time, but I'm excited about a few weeks from now. Just about 3 more weeks. All right. God bless. Good night. See you all soon. Well, if I'm lucky, I'll catch you out there driving them stakes in the ground. Peggy telling y'all, that's not straight. Do it straight. Okay. God bless. Good night.